In today's video, we're discussing Disney rides that have killed people. Kinda like this ride that gives you the experience of traveling to outer space, and this one that gives you a good look at the human body. Maybe literally in this case. First though, let's talk about a roller coaster with the word evil in its name. Primeval Whirl. Okay, maybe not the common evil you're thinking of, but it still works. A lot of people like roller coasters, and a lot of people like Disney. They're supposed to be fun, exciting, and adventurous. Unfortunately though, not every interaction with a roller coaster is going to be a good one. Some will cry, others will vomit, and sadly in this entry, someone died. Back over in 2007, Disney employee Karen Price, 63, was loading guests into the Primeval Whirl attraction when the ride suddenly began to move. This pushed Price 10 feet forward, causing her to fall off the ride platform. She ended up dropping 3 feet to the ground, where she then struck her head. She didn't die on the spot, and in fact, witnesses said that Price was conscious, alert, and talking after the accident. Sadly, Price died 5 days later as her condition deteriorated, effectively getting killed by the ride. Despite what happened, Disney spokeswoman Jackie Pollock insisted the ride was operating normally at the time of the incident. Still, in response to the tragedy, Disney extended the Primeval Whirl's platform and added striping to delineate loading and unloading zones. They also installed sensor mats in restricted areas so the ride would automatically shut down if anybody stepped on them. Skyway Station. On Valentine's Day of 1999, 65-year-old Raymond Barlow was cleaning the Disney Skyway loading platform when tragedy struck. This ride served as a sky gondola, offering amusement park goers an easier way to go back and forth between Fantasyland and Tomorrowland. Unfortunately, someone must not have known he was on duty there, as a rising cable car turned on and swept Robert off the platform. According to the Orange County Sheriff's Office officials, Barlow grabbed onto the side of the gondola and tried to get inside. However, the elderly man couldn't lift himself. After a minute, during which he was hanging on the side of the car, Barlow fell 40 feet below, landing near the Dumbo ride. Help was immediately called for, and Barlow was airlifted to Orlando Regional Medical Center, but he died shortly after arriving. Officials believe the instance is one of accidental death. Disney spokeswoman Rena Callahan stated it was the first accidental death on a theme park ride in any of Disney World's 4 theme parks. Somehow though, given this list, I find that hard to believe. Splash Mountain. Whenever we feel sick and happen to be around other people, we tend to want to escape the situation to recover by ourselves. After all, nobody wants to worry others as much as possible. I imagine that's what this man wanted to do when he told his fellow passengers on Splash Mountain that he wasn't feeling too well. That's according to one account anyway. Whatever the case, the situation played out for the worst. The unnamed victim was a 37-year-old man who died after climbing off a boat on the Splash Mountain flume ride as another of the 8 passenger boats struck him. Riders told investigators from the Orange County Sheriff's Office that he had gotten out of the vessel midway through the ride, clarifying that nobody pushed him and he didn't jump either. After the incident, the man was taken to the Florida hospital Celebration Health, where he died on arrival. According to Rena Callahan, the Disney spokesperson, the incident was the most serious ever on the Splash Mountain ride, implying other less grave incidents have occurred in the past, and that's not very calming to hear there. Mission to Space. Oh, no, this is probably a children's theme park's worst nightmare, actually. In 2005, a 4-year-old boy died after fainting on Disney World's Mission Space ride, a ride so intense that motion sickness bags are prepared in case anyone needs to hurl. I mean, after all, it does simulate a rocket launch to Mars, something only trained professionals generally do. There have also been several reports of riders needing treatment for chest pain afterward. You'd think they'd ban kids from going on board then, but hey, money speaks. Dowdy Bumlame was carried off by his mother after he passed out from riding the attraction. Employees helped the distraught lady place her son on a bench while paramedics were being called to the scene. These professionals tried their best to revive him. However, the child died at Celebration Hospital. According to the sheriff's office, the employees allowed the boy inside as he met the minimum height requirement for the ride, despite knowing that he would face twice the normal force of gravity in the chamber. Honestly, sometimes it's better to deal with the backlash if you think it might save someone's life. Expedition Everest. In 2007, 44-year-old Jeffrey Reed visited Disney World with his family. They were all smiles and giggles and thought riding Animal Kingdom's Expedition Everest would be fun. Unfortunately, anything but smiles were given afterward. This is because Reed had died while on the roller coaster. No accidents happened this time around, and there was no signs of negligence either. The death was, for lack of a better term, natural. Reed died because he suffered a heart attack while on the ride. The Disney crew tried to help him, and one employee performed cardiopulmonary resuscitation while another called the paramedics, who arrived just 5 minutes after the call. By then, though, Reed had no pulse and he wasn't breathing. Even though the signs pointed to him being dead, Reedy Creek Emergency Services transported him to Florida Hospital Celebration Health, where he was promptly pronounced dead. Despite the best efforts from the Disney crew, the company did suffer backlash due to a lack of defibrillators. However, Fire Chief Bo Jones admitted it would be impossible to know whether a readily available portable defibrillator would have made a difference in this case. Seven Seas Lagoon. Oh, I remember the memes about this one. Lane Graves, age 2, was playing on Disney World's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa Beach when an alligator appeared and dragged him into the Seven Seas Lagoon. Yeah, I think a lot of people remember this one. His father did try to save him, but the alligator was far too quick. It had the boy firmly in its mouth and brought him underwater. Before we continue though, we may as well talk about this lagoon. It's an artificial lake created for the Walt Disney World Resort, and it was mainly used for boating activities, implying it should be safe. But obviously that wasn't the case here. What's most tragic about this case is that Lane's mother and 4-year-old sister were also there to witness everything. This family even came from Nebraska to go on vacation, and no one could have thought of what was to come. Lane's body wasn't found until 16 hours later. Medical examiners report that Lane had died from a traumatic neck injury and drowned. Since then, Disney has posted warning signs about alligators and snakes in the lagoon and built rock walls to fence the beachfront. Honestly, I'd say you should do more, but hey, Disney will do what they do. Body Wars. On May 16, 1995, a little 4-year-old girl named Linda Elaine Baker died right next to her 40-year-old mother. This is while they were on the Body Wars attraction at Disney World. Apparently, she had collapsed while still on the ride, which simulates a trip through the human anatomy. Sadly, she could not be resuscitated and was pronounced dead at Orlando Regional Medical Center. After a thorough examination conducted by the Orange County Medical Examiner, the expert concluded that the toddler had a congenital heart conduction defect, which led to her untimely death. This seemingly stumped the mother, as according to Mrs. Baker, her daughter had no history of health problems, though relatives found in Texas attest the opposite. I don't think we're ever going to get the truth of this matter, but I do hope the mother is being truthful, as there's no negligence on this part of Disney World. Unlike the previous entry, Disney World actually took the proper precautions and told people straight up not to ride this ride if you have health problems. Please take warning seriously, guys, they're there for a reason. Now it's time for the day's best pick. What's the worst that can happen on the train? Derailment. And unfortunately, one Disney World ride suffered just that. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. An accident occurred at Disney World's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, resulting in 1 man dying and 10 others being severely injured. At about 11:20 a.m. that fateful day in 2003, the lead car of the roller coaster and the open-top passenger cars sped through the faux desert landscape before going uphill into a tunnel when the incident occurred. The cars separated as the train derailed. They were filled with passengers, and some were able to go out and look for help, but the majority were stuck in their seats. Authorities reported that the riders were trapped for about an hour before firefighters and paramedics could get them out. Sadly, 1 man named Marcelo Torres died when the operation was finished. Emergency workers said they had to extract him from the front passenger car, and the 10 other people with him, aged 9 to 47, suffered moderate to minor injuries. The most severely hurt sustained cuts, bruises, and possible broken ribs. Later that day, the chief executive of Walt Disney Co. expressed his condolences to the victims' families. He closed the ride until all inquiries regarding the incident were completed. Sailing ship Columbia. Luann Feet Dawson, age 33, was taken off of his respirator at about 9:30 p.m. a day after Christmas. He had already been declared brain dead that morning, but doctors waited for his family members before disconnecting life support. Nobody could have imagined what happened to him just a few days prior, though. That day, a loose metal cleat flew through the air, striking Dawson and his wife and entangling an employee carpenter at dockside. The particular metal cleat was a fixture of the Columbia, an 84-foot 1950s vintage tall ship replica. The ride was docking after a routine voyage through the Rivers of America attraction when the metal tore loose. Disney officials refused to comment on the allegations made by former employees who cited that staffing cuts and inadequate training and maintenance played a role in the incident. Of course, current employees call these allegations unfounded, but it doesn't help that their case that the park's maintenance had already drawn criticism for quite some time, even before the tragedy struck. Whatever the case, OSHA declared they would investigate the accident due to an employee getting hurt. Oh god, what a sad Christmas. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it really works. Matterhorn Bobsled. Seatbelts save lives, people. It's always been a fact. However, apparently some of these safety belts fail when they're needed most. And of course, it's in Disneyland. Dolly Young, 48, was sitting alone in the rear half of an 8-passenger bobsled when the accident occurred. Already, she was about halfway down the attraction's artificial mountain. Somehow, though, her seatbelt was undone and she fell onto the track. An incoming sled instantly struck her. The 4 friends she came with did not realize what happened until the end of the ride, which shut down within 30 seconds of the incident. Thankfully, no one in the sled that hit Mrs. Young was injured, though I'm sure after witnessing something as gruesome as that, some of them are likely to seek therapy. What confused investigators and Disney the most was how the seatbelt was unbuckled. There had been no reported mechanical failures on their end, however, this statement is a little murky as park officials initially refused to comment on the death. Dolly Young at the time was the 5th guest to die on a Disneyland ride. Unfortunately, as we've seen on this list, she wasn't the last. We can all just hope it gets better from here on out. See you all next time.